Grand Rising, everybody. How do you keep healing when you feel like giving up? Like, I've tried it over and over. I tried losing weight. I tried changing the way I eat. I tried doing this. I tried doing that. But it just seems like, man, nothing that works for me. It seems like I get back to the depression. I get back to the anxiety. I get back to the old ways of being, even though I know better. Like, sometimes you ask yourself, if I know better, why am I not doing better? If I've been better, why can't I get back there? So I want to talk to you about how do you keep growing when you feel like giving up during your wellness journey? How do you keep growing when you feel like stopping while you're healing? The healing process is not just beautiful, it can also be painful. But the courage to stand strong within it all is what keeps you growing. It's what elevates you to another level. So tap in. Feel like giving up. Healing is not linear. Changing is not linear, which means it doesn't just happen one time and then boom, I figured it out, I'm healed. You got to keep doing it. Changing is not linear. Sometimes you're changing, and then you regress, and you got to get back on track. So life is a constant picking yourself back up and getting back on track, and keep that process going over and over and over and over until you make it happen. So I'm here because I want to remind you that it's not going to be easy to change. It's not going to be in one go. Sometimes what happens is your mind tries to take over again. It tries to say, hey, I don't want you to change. I want you to stay the same. I don't want you to evolve. I don't want you to get out of this, because if you get out of this, then where does that left me? If your mind usually says, if you get out of this way of being, where does that leave me? Because your mind is trying to stay active. Your mind is saying, I want to dominate you, right? Because your mind wants to dominate you. And by mind, I mean the way that you've been thinking and being, your ego, your personality, right? It wants to dominate you. So whenever you try to say, oh, I'm going to change this way of doing, like I'm going to try to change this, your mind's going to say, you don't need to do that. You did it right before. What you was doing was good. Especially, let's say, like for me, one of my hardest struggles is going vegan. And I'm still working on that. And when you try to change your lifestyle, your mind says, you're gonna do that? Is that really you, brother? I don't think so. Look, 2 months ago, look what you were doing. A month ago, look what you were doing. So your mind tries to play these tricks on you to say, oh, you never change. So think of your mind being like that serpent. You heard of that, good and evil? Good and evil? Yes. You know what I mean? So if you don't give good the stage, evil is going to try to speak in your ear and take over. So they say, if you don't keep going for what you want, what you don't want will take over. And what I mean by that is, while you're in your healing journey, to not give up, what you got to keep doing is you got to keep giving attention to that. So yeah, you're going to have your missteps, but then you say, okay, I'm going to get back. You're going to have your failures, then you say, okay, I'm going to get back. Whatever you pay attention to continuously grow. But I don't want you to get in the mindset of, oh, I went away from it, so now I can't do it ever again. Nah. Listen, all you got to do is do this. This was then, this is now. I'm realizing what happened then, now I'm changing it. That mindset is the biggest mindset shift you can ever have, right? The mindset shift of this was then, it is now, man, that will change your life. What do I mean? Because a lot of times what happens is not what happened, is how we feel about what happened. That this is how the mind works. The mind wants you to dwell on how you messed up. The mind wants you to dwell on your mistakes. Because by getting you to dwell on your mistake, your mind keeps perpetuating how it used to be, how it used you. So what's the process like? All right. It has to do with standards and values, right? For me, I'm always resetting my standards, resetting my values. From time to time, I got to look back at myself and say some things that's seriously like, come on, bro. live up to what you're saying. You got to keep doing that over and over for you up until you lose your mind and create a new one. Somebody told me, hey man, you out here telling people to lose their mind? You trying to let people go crazy, bro? Nah, I'm not trying to do that, y'all. I'm not. And yesterday I was talking about no mind, no thinking. You trying to get people to not think? You trying to make people, nah. The opposite. Really, what's happening is we keep reminding ourselves, hence why we keep staying in the same spot. Remind, make your mind the same again by remembering what happened then. Remind, make your mind the same again by remembering what happened then, instead of being present, which is making what will happen. You see the difference? When you remind yourself of how you messed up, a lot of people, they tend to remind you on how you used to be. So they try to keep you in there. Let me tell you about this though. Just like your own mind tries to remind you of how you used to be, other people do the same thing. Why do you think other people remind you how you used to be? It's because they identify with the old version of you and they trying to keep that around. So then they just try to remind you, like, remember when? Why? Because they say, oh, if I get them to go back when, then I can get them to time travel. And now they can, get back in my life again. Let's say you was with somebody real toxic. What they're going to try to do is they're trying to get you back to that old mind. Because that's all they know. Like you said, they're going to be like, remember when? So that way they could spark something inside of you. They could bring up your guilt trip. And you know what that guilt trip does for you is it gets you back in that old mind. And this is why you don't want to keep saying, reminding yourself over and over and over and over how you used to be, how you used to mess up. Because what that's going to do is it perpetuates it. Where you put your energy, that energy grows. So somebody says, okay, so you're saying stop reminding yourself? Yeah, stop reminding yourself and you won't make your mind the same again. If you stop reminding yourself, you won't make your mind the same again. So what if you say, okay, I won't remind myself how I did that. I'm just going to rewire myself and how I want to be. I'm going to rewire myself to what I want to focus on. Instead of reminding, rewire. Somebody want to know, what is the difference? Reminding is shooting the same pathways again. Rewiring is shooting a different pathway, right? This is neuroscience. Reminding is making the same connections, literally or figuratively or psychologically. Making the same neural connections is reminding your brain. Every time you do something repeatedly, what your brain does is it builds a strand. This strand is called a neural pathway. The more you do that, the more you remind yourself. The more you keep strengthening the strands. And soon those lines you build become a cable and they bind you to that way of being. So the only way to do it is to rewire your neural pathways. How do you do that? By taking forth a different action. How do you do that? By not identifying with your past action. The quicker you can forgive yourself, the quicker you can grow. The quicker you can stop saying, I should have bought some crypto and buy the crypto, the quicker your crypto gonna grow, right? The other day I was like, man, I should have bought Doge when it was like at like 0.001. And I'm like, wait a minute. While I'm saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda, doulda, why don't I just buy it? Right? Instead of saying, well, I should have worked out, I should have ate health, why don't you do it now? As soon as you become consciously aware of what you're not doing, you have that same conscious awareness to start doing. As soon as you become consciously aware of what you're lacking in, you have the conscious awareness enough to act in it. So it's not the lack that should hinder you, but it's what's happening. So somebody says, oh, how do I keep going during my healing journey? Forgive yourself for not doing the things that you think you should do to heal. That in itself is part of the healing process. It's the more you can keep forgiving your carnal being, your animalistic nature. In other words, the more you can forgive you for being how you used to, the better you'll be in doing what you need to get to where you want to be. Okay? So somebody says, what happens if I'm doing a routine, I keep doing the routine and I fall off? Get back on it as soon as you possibly can. And the secret is reset. If you don't have resets, then it's really difficult. At some point, you gotta step back and you gotta do a reset for the week. Right? Not only do you do a reset for the week, but sometimes you gotta do a reset for the month, a reset for the quarter. Resets are very important in keeping you with the healing process because it allows you to reflect. If you reflect and reset, then you have a better chance of saying, oh, these are the things that are coming right back in my life. Oh, I'm accepting more toxic thoughts. My routine is coming off track. Let me reset that. Oh, I'm not taking any more breaks as much as I could. Let me do that. Oh, I'm spending too much time on that. Let me reset it. I am like the most far from perfect person in the world. And I'm saying that with most humility. I am the most far from perfect person. And I'm saying most because I'm saying we all are. We're all far from perfect. But what I do know is I always hold myself to a standard and I try to live up to it, and I live up to it most of the time. And when I find myself not living up to it, I reset my mindset and I say, get on it, Ed. Let's do it. Let's try it again. I try over and over and over and over again until I succeed. I just don't stop, right? Success for me is not just in business. Success for me is in my personal life. It's in sticking to what I said I was gonna do. The habits that help me, the routines that help me. If journaling really helps me and I found out that I didn't go a month in doing it, I say next month I'm gonna do the best to do it. If I know juicing is very effective in cleaning my digestive system and I stop juicing, I'm gonna do my best to reset it. This podcast, those are times where I stop putting it out every day. If I know that's gonna empower people and I need to do it as part of my life's work, you're gonna get right back on it. So what I'm saying is, it's not how many times you fall, it's how fast you get back up. It's how easily you forgive yourself for falling. That you just, you know what, I'm bleeding right there. Let me throw a Band-Aid on that. Let me clean the womb up a little bit. The faster you can clean the womb, the less toxic the womb becomes. The chances of its infection goes down. But what most of us does, we do learn helplessness. This is what stops a lot of progress, learn helplessness. Learn helplessness is when you sit down and you look at your knee that's bleeding, instead of taking forth the action to stop the bleeding, either by cleaning it, by putting a Band-Aid on it, by wrapping it up, we look at it and we say, I'm bleeding. And we're like, dang, I'm bleeding, y'all. Oh my goodness, I'm bleeding. So we go around to everybody, their mama, sister, cousin, and we're like, yo, check it out, I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding, I'm bleeding, I'm bleeding. But you never ask for a Band-Aid. So we have conversations, we say, I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding, I'm bleeding, I'm bleeding. Why don't we say, how can I start healing? Why don't we say, do you have a Band-Aid? Or better yet, do you have the formula for this wound to close back up? And the best thing, why don't we just say, ask yourself, how can I start healing? So the concept is this: if we spend less time hitting ourselves in the head, then we'll recover faster. It's you slapping yourself in the head, unless intentionally to bring the blood flow, is not gonna help you. What it does is it stops you from doing the stuff to work with the healing. So I'm saying, don't blame yourself up until this point. Okay, you didn't lose the weight up until this point. Well, you're gonna learn how to do it better now. Spend the time learning, then bashing yourself for the lack of learning. That will do way better for you. That will be much better for you, because what does blame do for you? What does shame do for you? What does feeling bad about yourself do for you? Not much. Not much. Only action transforms people's lives, right? Only actions, reflections, epiphanies, not necessarily the bashing of you. So I'm saying this to say, if you feel like, man, try to do it, I get off. I go in, I'm wishy-washy. If you feel like you're wishy-washy, then here's what you might have to do. You might have to check on your clothes regularly. Here's what I mean by that. You know how you leave all your clothes to wash them all at once? And then you're trying to wash them all at once, now you got a whole bunch of clothes. It's just too much clothes, so now you're overwhelmed. Sometimes we let our dirty laundry, the things we need to deal with, we keep them in our closets. We never deal with them. And then when we have no more clothes left, we're like, oh, I gotta go to the laundry. And that's the issue. Don't do all your dirty laundry in one day at the end of the month. Do it every week and you will be greater peace of mind. And what I mean by that is simple, everybody. If you constantly take care of your laundry, you won't have to do them all at once. You won't have to be overwhelmed. And the chances of you saying, oh, I don't want to go do the laundry will be less because you're doing it every day. So every day you got to open up the skeleton closet and do your laundry. So I'm saying a daily refresh, a daily cleanup. So when you wake up, you don't just clean your teeth, brush your teeth. When you wake up, don't just brush your teeth. When you wake up, you gotta clean your mind. You gotta clean your emotions. You gotta clean your body from the toxins. Because if you accumulate too many toxins, it's like what you do is you have too many dirty clothes. And then at the end of the month, you're burnt out trying to clean all your clothes at once, trying to restore your vitality. It's too much. But what if you did your laundry every week? In fact, what did you do it every day? What if some days you analyze to see what clothes are really dirty and what clothes are kind of dirty? Instead of putting all of the clothes in dirty pile, put some of them back in your closet. So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes we wait until we are overwhelmed to clean up the life. When if we clean up every day, we won't be overwhelmed. If you make sure, okay, you drop something that's dirty right there, you clean it up. So what do I mean by that? You notice a negative thought. Dismantle this negative thought before it becomes a negative mindset. You notice a little ache in your shoulder. Stretch that ache out before it becomes a disease. You notice your intestines are not working like it should. Your digestion is off a little bit. Make sure you fix that before you go to sleep. At least let it tell you it's time to stop eating. So let's not be crisis managers. Let's be vitality managers. And let's be spiritual janitors. So you manage your vitality and you clean up your floor every day. Every day you got to clean up the toxins from your body, the toxins from your mind, the emotions that are stuck somewhere. The more you do that, the more you free yourself. So you're not walking around all toxic because you already cleanse yourself. And you do it daily, like you take a shower. I show how to rise and prime. You do as if it's part of your self-care rising routine. It's not just you wake up, you take a shower, you go to work. No, you wake up. What did you do for your mind? What did you do for your conscience? What did you do for your spirit? How are you going to motivate yourself to eat better today? How are you going to motivate yourself to move more today, to breathe more today, to get some more peace into your life? Only way you can do that is if you have the mentality that every day I rise up, I'm going to add into my mental bank. Every day I rise up, I'm going to add into the bucket. Because what you're doing is you're saying, oh, not only am I cleaning my dirty laundry every day, but every day I'm bringing forth, I'm cleaning up, I'm adding water into the bucket, right? So not only do we empty the dirty water, but we got to put in clean water. Not only do we empty what's blocking us, the blocks, but we have to fuel ourselves up. So you have to put in words of inspiration. You got to every day learn something new. Not only do you learn something new, but you apply something new. But more importantly than learning and applying what you've learned is being a representation of that. So what I mean by that is simple. So you learn, you apply, but you embody it. Next level up is embodiment. You embody it every day. That's how you add bucket. That's how you adding buckets. That's what I mean by adding vitality to your bank. Deposit. This is a deposit that you make. So clean, deposit, and forgive, and you'll continue to grow. It is a mindset thing. It's a mind shift. The more you shift your mind, the more you'll shift your life. And you transform things. You'll be like, yo, this is pretty cool. It's going up. Things are going up. Things starts to change. Things starts to evolve because you're transforming your mind and you're transforming your life as a result of it. So when you feel like giving up, don't do it. Stop. Don't do it. Keep going. Don't bash yourself. Get back on it. Listen, a negative moment does not dictate your life as being negative. Right? A negative situation does not dictate every situation to be negative. You can transform it. Right? The yin and the yang. Right? There's two sides of life. There's a duality in everything. And sometimes in order for us to really treasure the yang or the yin, we have to experience one. It's hard to appreciate light if you never experience darkness. So the Creator in His infinite wisdom decided that I'll give you a piece of both light and dark. So just like you got progress, we need regression so we could treasure progress. Just like we have progress, we need regression so we could treasure stillness. So we can treasure just being there. So we need these different things because what it does is without one, the other almost is not there. So what I'm saying is this. Sometimes in life, you need the pain to elevate. Even the markets need the trots to get the peaks. They need the dips to get the elevation. That's kind of how life goes. It's not a linear process. It's a squiggly line. It's an up and down. It's like a hill. And we're constantly, every day, we're climbing this hill. But we stay hungry on the climb. You're going to sweat. Sometimes you're going to try to, you thought there was a rock there, but ain't no rock. And you're like, I thought there was a rock, there's the rock, you know? So this is life. You know, life is not simple. Life is not easy. It's worth it. During our healing process, sometimes we fall off track. But here's what I want you to know. The track is still active. I want you to know that the track was created by you to begin with. So if it starts to go away, what you do? You create another track. This track is something in your brain. If you took a couple of steps down this pathway, there is greener grass on the other side. But while walking, you might only see dirt. That's because while you're walking in that path, your brain has to kill the grass to create a way for you to go. Whenever you stop walking that path, the grass grows back. So what I'm saying is, whenever you stop taking action on your positive habits, the negative ones come back up. But if you keep walking down the path each and every single day, not only will that path stay active, but you're going to keep getting that same direction to your destination. However, we got to keep walking the path. Somebody says, well, I didn't go down the trail yesterday. Cool. Guess what? Just because you did go down the trail one day doesn't mean that the grass grows back in a day. Because even when you don't go down the trail, other people still are walking down that path. And what I mean by that, even when you don't take the path you created for yourself, to some extent, your cells are still walking down that path. Even when you say, oh, I didn't do this action today, something inside of you, even if you didn't take the action, says, I have a standard of taking this action. So your cells remembers this. And all you have to do is wake up tomorrow and walk down that path, it'll still be there. Not to confuse you or anything, I'm talking about neural pathways. Even when you don't take a habit for one day, if you just do it the next day, you have memory of that habit. The habit will just get right back, and you're going to be able to experience the green on the other side. But stop bashing yourself, stop blaming yourself. Stop talking to you like you wouldn't talk to somebody you care about. Stop talking to you like you're a stepkid, right? Stop talking to you like you're not worthy. Talk to you like the powerful being that you are. How you talk to yourself will dictate the energy you give back to you. If you talk to yourself with kindness, you're going to give yourself kind energy. If you talk to yourself with conviction and belief, you're going to give back to yourself a convicted and a faithful life. So stop talking to yourself in a way that other people wouldn't talk to you. Stop talking to you a way where you wouldn't talk to your mom like that. Because that's that speech that you're saying to you is what's even making you feel like you're not worthy to take the path. You keep talking to yourself this certain way, you're talking to yourself out of waking up. You're talking to yourself out of taking the habit that you need to do. You're talking yourself out of what you need to do to heal. And I'm trying to say to you, I'm saying to you, you don't have to keep talking to yourself this way. You don't have to keep treating yourself this way. You don't have to keep blaming yourself. You don't have to keep shaming yourself. You don't have to let other people's judgment stop you from. Don't let other people's judgment condemn you to a mental hell. Don't experience hell on earth because you're letting other people's judgments cloud your own judgment to the point where you're condemning yourself to hell. You're saying, look, you'll never be enough. You'll just be like your daddy. Look, you're always going to be a failure. You're always going to be in the streets. Don't let other people's words dictate your life. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Their words is not your power. Your power is your word. So speak life into your life. Speak, I am going out of this. I am growing out of this way of being. I know I failed then. I know I started healing then and I went back, but I keep getting up. I rise up. I get myself back up. I brush off my shoulders. I keep on walking. I fall off. If I can look up, I can get up. And you gotta have that mindset. Listen, we let ourselves down more than anybody in the world let us down. But we pick ourselves up so much that we should say to ourselves, every time you've fallen down, you've picked yourself up. Every time you fell on the ground, you picked yourself up because you're still walking. If it wasn't the case, you wouldn't be here right now. Because if you didn't pick yourself up, you wouldn't be here. You did. You picked yourself up through all life's challenges. And if you're on the floor right now and you can see, if you can hear, if your senses are active, you can get up. So I'm reminding you that, listen, you don't have to stay down there. You can get up. If you can look up, you can get up. If you can look up in your mind and say, I did it before, you can find that strength within you to get back on track again. So whether it's your rising routine, whether it's your exercise, whether it's your business and you say, I need to really work on this, whether you're investing, whether you're healing from traumas, whatever it is you're trying to do or undo, get on it, get active, and keep on growing. Get on it, get active, and keep on growing. That's my message, y'all, and I'm sticking to it. Get on it, get active, and keep on growing. That's right. That's right, everybody. So that's my message for today. I know this is adding value to you. And once again, you know, I'm here every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time on IG, Facebook, and YouTube. You watch the replay on Facebook and YouTube. Once again, thank y'all for tapping into this episode of Ed Talks Daily. The way that you subscribe is by going to edtalksdaily.com. Once again, I provide you the motivation during the podcast, but I provide you with the transformation in the tribe. Most people stay with the motivation and the information, but if you want the transformation, you have to go to edtalksdaily.com. That's my message. If you want the transformation, you have to join the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe. And in order to do that, all you have to do is go to holisticlifestyletribe.com and you will be able to join the tribe. With the tribe, you get access to Rise in Prime calls. The daily Rise in Prime calls are the best ways to transform your life by building new neural pathways in your brain with an early rising routine that will literally transform how you live your life. So if you want to experience that, if you want to do the work to transform, I'm inviting you to go to this website, holisticlifestyletribe.com. Go to the website and you'll be able to get access. You'll be able to get access to the daily Rise in Prime sessions. You'll be able to get access to 15-minute coaching calls daily. You'll be able to get access to a 21-day detox fast program you can do. You're going to get many resources such as journaling prompts. You're going to have access to a community of wellness seekers and teachers who come together every single day, healing on Zoom. So you don't want to miss out on this. Go to holisticlifestyletribe.com right now to join your tribe. Remember, you have the unlimited power in you to transform your life, to create a version of you that no one have ever experienced before. But first, you have to believe it in order to achieve it. And unless you do that, the world will forever miss all your talents, all your gifts, and all the great things that you have to offer. So remember, let your light shine. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. Peace.